Okay, so in this video we're going to show you how to achieve a quiff section regardless of whether you're wearing a bun wig or a full wig. We still want to separate the quiff in the same way. So as you can see there, I've used my tail comb to drag the comb right the way ear to ear to create a nice clean line and a good section of hair that's been separated from the main body of hair. So as you can see, our dancer's got lovely long hair, which we are separating from ear to ear and making sure that we leave a really good chunky part that we can then use as our quiff. You can see there I'm just brushing the main body of hair up. She wears a bun wig, so that will all be put up into that lovely high ponytail that we see. And I'm just gathering the quiff section that I have pulled together. And what you'll see in a moment is when the dancer turns to face the camera, that right the way across the front of her head, we've created a nicely separated piece of hair that runs from the dancer's ear to their other ear and allows for enough hair to create a nice bulky quiff at the front of their style. Now, what we'll do beyond here is we will leave this piece right until the very end, but what we will do is we will add some powder. So lots of different variants of this on the market. I like to use the Got To Be puff powder. It's available in lots of local chemists. As you can see, I'm just reaching for my powder. So as you can see it there, Got To Be powder full, I think it's called. And we just pop that at the front of the dancer's quiff and allow that to settle. So rub that in with your fingers. Episode 2, how to achieve perfect height on a ponytail for a bun wig. So you can see there I'm gathering all the hair up. I'm using my secret weapon, my Got To Be volumizing mousse, much easier than hairspray. I'm applying that at the back and then I'm leaning the dancer forward and bringing her hair towards me at the front and then brushing the hair towards me as close to the line where we've split the quiff as possible. For this we want to use a good brush, so ideally something that is along the style of a tangle teaser or a Denman. It just allows for that smooth look at the back much easier. Just neatening off the front there. The bigger the wig, the less hair you see at the back, so it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be gathered at the back. We can always tidy it up later. And the aim here is for that hair to be as high as possible and as close to the line where you split the quiff as possible. We want to use a good bubble, or you can see the brush there, just an example of what that brush could look like. We want to use a good solid bobble. The bobble is the key. Ideally a bobble that doesn't have a metal piece in it, because that means that it's likely to be weaker. We've just got some bubbles of Amazon there that are great, and we're popping the hair in the middle. A solid bobble means that the structure will stay straight throughout the course of the day, and we're just tightening it off there and making sure it's centralised, and that's what you want it to look like. This is episode 3, looking at the placement of donuts for a bun wig. Episode 1 will have shown you how to split the dancer's quiff. Episode 2, how to get that nice high ponytail for a bun wig. We're using 3 donuts, all the same size, and some wide grips to allow for the donuts to be gripped in. So first donut goes in over the nice high ponytail, and you're gripping that into the dancer's hair. Don't worry if your donut goes over the line where you've separated the quiff, just gives the wig something nice to hold on to. As you'll see as we go through, this dancer's wearing a brand new Camellia Rose wig, new for her. It's a Cloda wig in 24B 613A. And second donut going in there, and the trick here is you want to connect the donuts to each other now, not to the dancer. So in at the top of the donut and then feed through to the donut below. And then you want to do that for donut number 3 as well. So donuts all the same size. The Cloda wig typically takes 3 donuts and the others generally 2, but some do wear 3 if they want that nice high look. And then again clipping the donuts into each other, not into the dancer, and then taking the finalised bit of hair, we're going to wrap that up and make that into an extra bun on top of the dancer's head, and then that gives you the finalised bit of height and a good shape for underneath. So as you can see there, that's our finalised look from the side. Our brand new wig. Episode 4, how to put the wig on. So wig over the top of the donuts. You can see the combs there. I'm combing them right into the dancer's hair, attaching them to the donuts that are underneath. At this point it's just a rough guide. We're getting the shape, we're getting the string, and we're tightening it with 2 hands, and then we take that string that should be at the back of the wig and we're tucking it under the curls, and we're adding some grips on there for extra safety. If your structure underneath is secure, you shouldn't need too many grips on the overall wig. Now what we want to do is add lots of shape and volume to this wig. You can see as the wig's gone on, she's got great height, and that's as a result of the donuts and the structure underneath. We're using the Camellia Rose extra strong bobby pins, and you can see there, that's what the wig looks like from the front. Lots of nice height, and we're just puffing it out there to make sure it's got all that lovely volume and the tone of the wig shade is coming through. So fluff it up and out as much as you need to, and then we're going to take some of those longer, wider pins and then use those to secure the wig into the donuts here. So we're not going into the hair, we're going into the donuts. And then, as you can see, we're starting to get that lovely high shape which will support the dancer's headpiece as well. One of the things that's really important, we want to see curl over headpiece. We don't want the headpiece to be bigger than the curl, but you can see there lots of lovely shape is starting to form, and it looks like.
We have had so many messages about this long awaited video. So this is the how to achieve the perfect quiff on a bun wig. So this dancer wears her quiff from ear to ear, and as you can see, we're just brushing through the hair that's been sectioned off. Make sure you've seen videos 1, 2, 3 and 4 on how to get to this stage. So we've sectioned our 3 pieces of hair off, and as you can see, they're going to be done in 3 separate sections, and they'll come back together as one whole quiff later on. Using our Got To Be powder, just reapplying some of that down the main section of the quiff, and we want to be fairly generous as we're popping that powder on. So the more powder you use, the bigger the quiff. And as you can see, I like to be quite generous with the powder. Now what we want to do is start back combing. So we're using our back combing brush or a tail comb. Anything really that will allow you to brush that powder fully into that quiff. And we are going to create what I like to call a bird's nest. So you can see there that we've back combed enough for it to stand on its own. So that's what you're looking to achieve. My personal way of doing these is I don't use any donuts or combs or donuts on combs or anything like that. I like to just use the strength of the powder and the dancer's hair to achieve the look. So lots of back combing going on there. And top tip, what we always say is when you take your wig off after a long day's dancing, make sure you put lots of conditioner on your quiff piece, and then that should brush through quite easily once you've washed your hair. So lots of back combing. As you can see there, this isn't hurting the dancer. You can be quite gentle with the comb at this point, but we want to create that real back combed effect, because when we roll it eventually into a quiff, that's what the headpiece is going to sit on. So you want the strength. And you can see there, I'm just starting to form the full quiff. And dependent on how much hair the dancer's got at the front is dependent on how this front piece will go. If you are wearing it ear to ear, it doesn't always go the full way across, or sometimes it can not quite be as full in certain sections. So what we're going to do now is, we're comfortable with the amount of back combing. We're going to take the end of our comb and start rolling that. So we want to create a sausage-like shape out of our hair that's been back combed. So I actually think the donuts or the donuts on combs make it easier. We want to take some of the wider grips and just pin that initial style in place. So this isn't you formally pinning it in place, this is you just popping those grips in to get that look into a certain shape and style. You can see there that a really nice rounded quiff.
Here we are, the long awaited episode. I feel like they've all been long awaited, but here is how to finalise your quiff and shape your wig ready for your headpiece. So as you can see, I'm just going in with some of the wider grips here still, just to create that shape. So I'm trying to get a stable structure from ear to ear that's got enough padding and bounce underneath it to hold a headpiece. And the aim is here, we want to see curl above the headpiece. So we want the quiff strong enough to hold the headpiece, and that's really the starting point of putting the headpiece on your head. I'm just going in with some of the wider grips. Once I've gone in with the wider grips and I'm happy with my shape, I'm going to go in with the stronger Camellia Rose wig grips just to create that stable hold on that quiff. I'm looking at now how the quiff integrates with the rest of the curls, pulling the curls out where they've perhaps just got a bit tucked in when I've been putting the wider grips in, and really trying to achieve that rounded shape. So that's always the shape we're trying to achieve with a bun wig, is that rounded shape from ear to ear. Happy with the overall look. I'm going to go in with my hairspray. Got to be glued hairspray, will hold everything in place all day. So generous with the hairspray. Feel free to use your brush still at this point, just to brush out any little tangles that may have found their way into the front of the quiff. You can see there that we're just tidying things up and finalising our look. The hairspray will hold everything in place. What we haven't done here is tidied away any of our little baby hairs or flyaways, which we're going to do now with our Got To Be glued wand. This is for brows and flyaway hairs, so just pushing those upwards. Can get a little bit tangled at this point, but it is generally a much better look if you just tidy around the front of the face. And you can see there that we've got a nice quiff from side to side. Here we are, we've got the finished wig, nice and high, good solid quiff, as you can see from the side there. And it's time to put your headpiece on. So this should be the easiest part. We're lining at the middle of the headpiece, in this instance up with the dancer's nose. So you can see there that I'm demonstrating that should be dead centre. And what we're going to use, we're going to take some of those wider grips just to pop this in place. So you can see there that I am using the wider grips, and I'm starting at the side while still holding the middle in place. So you want to work your way around, having done both the sides first. And you can see that the quiff there hasn't moved. It's got enough padding to hold that headpiece in place. So what we're trying to achieve here is a quiff that is still visible beyond the headpiece being on top of it. Oh, that grip didn't want to go in. And lots of curls visible above the top of the headpiece. So as you can see there, we've provisionally popped it in place. I'm now shaping the wig around it, and we're going to add, once we're comfortable with the shape and size, lots of securing grips just to keep that in place.